Today we're going to update on the 6-foot shallow reef tank. What's going on, guys? Devin from ReefDudes. So it's been about 6 weeks since I last did a video on the shallow reef tank, so I figure it's time for a proper update. And there's even going to be a giveaway, so make sure you guys stay tuned till the end. So with the structure, you kind of see I do have it fairly low and spread out. So I try to do it more like a bit of an islandy structure. And depending on which angle you look at, you can see all different kind of little pedestals and kind of different stuff in the rock structure. So I'm trying to keep lots of sand space, but yet have lots of coral space. I still might tweak it and add a couple more ledges onto the tank as we go, if I run out of room for coral. So we'll see on that one. We are doing a giveaway, so if you haven't entered that yet, make sure you get in there. The coolest thing that I like is there's a little flange around the whole top. And what that does is it allows it to sit right at the edge of the rim, and you barely even notice. It's very kind of sleek setup, and it's one of my favorite features of it. So if you're not in there, make sure you guys enter to win one, because it's a pretty sweet top. Now going down to the actual tank, everything in the tank's been pretty darn happy. I do have little bits of sano popping up here and there that I might have to deal with, but aside from that, I'm going to basically call the tank pretty darn happy. When I did move it, I did have a little bit of a die-off on this one edge of the chalice. It's starting to grow back over top of it, so that's recovering fairly nicely. Got the blasto, I shaded him a bit. He's been really doing really well. Acan garden, I love acans if you guys haven't noticed. Or micro musa for the newer terminology. Got good old Bob, the powder blue. He's been super happy. He just loves the light. He's always in the camera. One of the newer guys got a new little cleaner wrasse. I think these guys are great to have in a tank. They're great little tank medics. And my other newest fish is a yellow Midas bunny who's currently hiding in that little chunk of rock right there. Zoom in a bit. But super kind of bubbly social fish, swims around. Love that little guy. As for corals, I moved the Duncan back out of the nano to the large tank. I do love the Duncan. I picked up some red dragon deepwater acro from the Reefer. He's another kind of local guy that's starting a YouTube channel. Super cool guy. If you haven't checked him out, I'll leave a link to his profile in the description below. And next time out in his area, I'm going to pop by and do a little tank tour, so that should be kind of a fun one. And I also got a very cool jack-o'-lempted here off him, so I'm super stoked for this guy. It's very cool coral, very bright. It's almost like a metallic-y orange. So that guy's pretty cool. Another new one I got from Impact Aquariums, I got a pink flower pot coral, so I'm kind of seeing how that guy does. I haven't had one of those in a long time, so hopefully that one does well. I do like those corals. Now, if you go up the rock a little bit, you'll notice this one little nem I'm currently blasting with flow. So I have the Nero right there at about 50% on random, just kind of blasting him. So when this guy's open, he fills up that whole area. He's touching the corals up higher, below. He's a good 5 or 6 inches. So I'm basically trying to annoy him with flow so that he moves out of this hole. If I touch him, he'll literally go from the size of my hand and sinks into a hole smaller than my pinky finger. So he's been next to impossible to get out, and getting a bunch of new acro soon, so I really want to clear up this whole space for a bunch of new frags. One other really cool thing, in the Reef Canada Facebook group, they had 11 days of giveaways, so they've been doing giveaways basically daily leading up to Christmas, and I won a frag pack from Candy Corals. Now, if you haven't seen him, this guy has some amazing corals, super fancy, really high-end stuff. So I'm super stoked to see what I get for a mystery acro pack. So once those actually show up, I will definitely do a video on it, and we'll see what kind of cool goodies we get. So speaking of the Nero, I've had this guy for a couple months now, and I've been running him. I kind of been alternating. I'm playing with him in the nano tank and the large tank. Super duper versatile pump. You can run it, literally run it on a tiny tank up to a massive tank, and I've turned off all my flow and still can create waves with this one pump. So super cool pump. I'll probably be doing a video update on, or review on this guy in a little while. I've been using it long enough. I feel like I can talk about it pretty darn well. Alexa, tell Apex Fusion to turn on the stand lights. So I'm still running the Clarity filter roller. You can see this guy's pulling out lots of nasties. A couple little mods I did. I raised it up about an inch higher. This one more notch on the back. I did this so there'd be a little more kind of water pressure pushing down on the fleece, which should give me a little more benefit or output from it. And I also opened the little bypass door about halfway just to let it not filter quite 100%, but most of it. I did this partially because I'm pushing a lot of flow through it. I got 2 M1 pumps running at about 45-50%, So I feel like it's probably pushing a little bit for flow. But this one's been now, I'm gonna say 3.5 weeks so far, so not quite a month, and then I got a little bit left on it. So yeah, so hopefully each roll I'm thinking should last longer and longer and longer over time. Good old skimmer, cleaned this baby yesterday. It was nice and full and nasty, best part of the hobby. For now, I have my little somatic reactor on there. We're just running a little bit of carbon, a little bit of an overkill pump. Next chamber over, we have the clear water scrubber. So it took about 3.5 weeks to break in, and there was a ton of algae. I'll actually cut over to a little clip I took of that one and show you guys. That is one full screen. It started making the kind of a waterfall noise a few days ago, so I knew it was about time to clean it. Look at all that freaking algae. That screen is packed. Look at all that guck. So it took about 3.5 weeks for this thing to break in and have a full sheet of algae. And there was a lot on there. So I was actually pretty impressed with how quick and full that sheet got. Now it's been probably about just shy of 2 weeks. So look at this, already full and ready to be emptied again. Both sides that are just covered. So this thing is pulling out a ton of nasty. So pretty impressed with how well this is working so far. Looks like every 10 days to 2 weeks can empty this and have a full sheet of algae. I also do have little covers on there so it blocks all the light, keeps it nice and clean in here. I do have a big ball of chaeto and some mangroves kind of growing, just kind of for fun. I am kind of half curious to see if one of the two outcompete each other eventually. Who knows? We'll see what happens. Next chamber over, we got the two M1s rolling. We got the little AT. Now this guy I'm loving. This is the Kimura FX STP parasolic pump. This is continuous duty, and this is what's feeding my calcium reactor. So it's currently running at 24 mils a minute, which seems to be about the sweet spot for my tank. This paired with the Vertex calcium reactor and with the Algatronic, little automated alkalinity tester, is kind of like the dream setup for me right now. Because every 12 hours, this guy is testing my tank. And if I see my alkalinity spiking up, trending upwards or downwards, all I have to do is walk over and go bloop, and just changes to mil and is basically adjusted. It is so easy to tune a calcium reactor with it. So it is definitely a dream setup, and just the fact that I have a constant trend of alkalinity from the Algatronic is pretty amazing. Now, as you guys can see, I still have to clean up the rat's nest of wires. It's cleaned up to about there. So next is going to be building some sort of a controller board for this all, and I got to use side panels for the stand. Now, if we look kind of left to right, it is pretty darn cleaned up. I did add LED strips to light up the stand and have that wired up to the EB832, and I'll do a video on that one of how to wire that baby up without wasting any outlets. Now on the top, I also got this really cool wire track, which is hiding all my wires along the whole side. So it keeps it nice and clean up until the part where I still got organized. The other thing I'm really loving is I got a bunch of the Ecotech kind of those little strap power mounts, and I have all my power supplies mounted up all along the bottom of the wood. So because I have a 2-inch stand, you do not see any of the power supplies. So it's a really cool way to do it and hide all your stuff, so it keeps it a lot cleaner. So once I get this all cleaned up, it should look pretty darn awesome. So I'm stoked for that. Control wall. So on the top here, I got 2 Apex power bars, which I'm amazed, but I somehow managed to fill up both of them. Underneath that, we got the brain for it. We got the Algatronic, and we got a dose. The dose I actually don't even have hooked up to anything at the moment. Still got to do that. This big jug right here is just my wastewater for the alkalinity tests. Supposedly you could dump it back into your tank. I haven't done that yet, so I just have a little 1-gallon space saver container that it slowly fills. And then there's one of the Aquamax dosing containers down there, and that's just holding the reagent. So I do have some more of these from my previous build, and they are going to be probably mounted in here, and I'll use that for whatever I dose. So one thing I'm going to do a Triton test in the near future, because I want to see is there any trace elements or things that I'm not getting from the calcium reactor. And once I figure out if there is anything lacking, then that's probably what I'll dose, is find some form of trace element to have whatever I'm missing and dose that back to the tank. So that should be a super cool way to do it. If you guys are in Canada, Sustainable Marine Canada sells all the Triton stuff, and they have the Triton test kits and all that jazz. So I picked up the kit from them, and we will see how that goes. Now, one thing you guys may have noticed, I have a little more flow in the tank. Black Friday, I picked up 2 more MP40s. So So after watching a lot of the worldwide corals and BRS videos and all the stuff about how important flow actually is, I decided it's probably a good idea to up my flow game a little bit. So I got 2 of those on the back wall, and they are circulating kind of around the front of the tank, so back wall to front. And then we have the 2 on this back wall firing this way. Now I might actually change that one back corner and put it on the back wall so that it cycles this way as well. Now when I think it's going to be awesome for flow. However, when I go into actual peninsula mode, I'm obviously going to have to change those 2 on the sidewall and mix up my flow game. But I got a few ideas I want to test for that. But so far so good, and I'm loving how much more flow I have in the tank. You can see lots of movement basically everywhere. The back ones are turned down pretty low. I think I'm only running them at 25%, and that's just so I don't get big sand dunes. I was getting little patches of sand blowing away on the bottom, so running it lower is basically stop that. But it's enough that it keeps flow everywhere. Like you can see even little whirlpools starting, and it's just water movement all throughout the tank. So overall, I'm very happy with the tank. It's been doing very well. A little bits of cyano here and there. I think the tank's looking pretty awesome. Now, if you guys have been following the channel lately, we've been doing a ton of giveaways for over the month. I think it's an awesome way to give back and say thank you to everyone that's helped follow and support the channel. So next Wednesday, this upcoming Wednesday, so 2 days from now, on the live stream, we'll be drawing for the copepods.com and Canada Copepods giveaway, which is going to be pretty awesome. So that contest is closed. We're also going to be drawing for the Poseidon Salinity Pen Plus. So if you guys don't have one of these, they're so handy to have, especially opposed to using a normal refractometer. It's quicker, easier, which means you're going to test more and make sure your tank stays in check. So another one we'll be drawing for, and the contest closes on this one Tuesday night at midnight PST. So if you haven't entered yet, get in that draw. And also have one going for a jump guard. So awesome top, super sleek, really love this guy. Another one's on the go. So 3 different contests on the go right now. Get in there, and there's one last one for the holiday season. Happy New Year's. As you can see, I'm running the clear water scrubber on the tank right now. And this is the CW100 model. Very impressed. Within 3.5 weeks, I had a full super dense sheet of algae off of it, so it broke in pretty darn quick. And it's producing very well. It's been about 10 days since I emptied it, and it's already full and ready to be harvested again. So really happy with that. So I did team up with Clearwater Scrubbers, and we are also going to be giving one away. So if you check the link in the description for this, will be kind of like, New Year's extra, thank you guys, giveaway back. So Clearwater Scrubber, great looking scrubber. And the only one thing, I had to build a stand for it. So this one can't be submersible, so you got to build a little stand. I built one out of acrylic, which didn't take too long, cost me about 20 bucks in acrylic, and just rigged it up one night. So far that Clearwater Scrubber's been pulling a ton of algae in my tank, and I've been very happy with it. So if you guys want to win one, make sure you click on the link in the description below to enter. Now if you guys got any questions on the tank, on the scrubber, the jump guard, the salinity pen, anything about the system, let me know in the comments below. If you guys are entering all these contests, I wish you all luck and hopefully you win. We'll be doing 2 draws this Wednesday, and then the next draw will be the following Wednesday, etc. So each of the contests I'm running for 2 weeks. So it's good enough, not too long, but good enough of time to let a few people enter in there. All right, guys, hope you all enjoyed this. I wish you all a happy New Year's, and good luck, and I'll catch you guys on the next video. Usually wins, you or Bob?
Too slow, Bob. Too slow. Oh, haven't started. Cheers! Ready? 1, 2, 3, go! Oh, on there.
Love it.